Welcome back to the 1991 Review Channel. Today, we're diving into episode 120 of Douluo 2 to see what exciting things happen. An unexpected event occurred when the God Realm summoned Hui Yuhao, leaving Tang Wudong stunned. Even Di Tian dared to defy the will of the God Realm. Prior to this, when Hui Yuhao and his friends arrived at the Spirit Pagoda, he helped Bei and the others fuse their spirit souls, significantly boosting their strength. It was precisely because of this that Hui Yuhao drew the attention of the God Realm. This happened while Hui Yuhao was assisting Su Sanshi in fusing with his spirit soul. Just as the process was nearing completion, the Sky Dream Ice Worm suddenly recognized a familiar aura of the Golden Turtle Spirit Beast that was merging with Su Sanshi. It turned out that in the past, the Golden Turtle had secretly stolen some of its life force. The Golden Turtle awkwardly confessed, explaining that when the Sky Dream Ice Worm was imprisoned in the Stardow Great Forest, it took the opportunity to absorb some of that energy. However, this act led to unforeseen consequences. After gaining a large amount of external life force, its senses became incredibly sharp, which indirectly led to the tragedy that followed. The Golden Turtle reminisced, its clan was naturally auspicious, and most of its members could cultivate for up to 100,000 years. However, advancing to 200,000 years was an incredibly difficult feat over confident. After absorbing the Sky Dream's life force, it had the audacity to trespass into Di Tian's territory at the Lake of Life, hoping to uncover the secrets of the Beast God's power. At the bottom of the lake, it discovered a mysterious spring surrounded by a bluish-green metal brimming with abundant life force. Driven by greed, it bit off a piece, instantly alerting Di Tian. In its panicked escape, it swallowed the piece of metal, a treasure that humans call the living spirit gold. However, instead of benefiting from it, the gold continuously drained the Golden Turtle's life force, causing its cultivation to decline and pushing it to the brink of death. It bitterly admitted that its greed had sealed its own fate. The living spirit gold and Hui Yuhao's determination. Ultimately, the Golden Turtle chose to fuse with Su Sanshi, becoming his spirit soul. During this process, all of its immense life force was absorbed by Su Sanshi's black tortoise shield, causing a glowing piece of metal to fall from the shield. This was the very same living spirit gold that had tormented the Golden Turtle for thousands of years. It warned everyone to be extremely careful with this treasure, especially to keep it from Di Tian, as it would surely attract the Beast God's pursuit. Without hesitation, Su Sanshi gave the living spirit gold to Hui Yuhao, believing that only he would know how to use it. Hui Yuhao initially hesitated but accepted it, declaring it a common asset of the Tang sect. To everyone's surprise, at that very moment, the green spirit guardian ring on his finger underwent a strange transformation, automatically flying toward and merging with the living spirit gold. The sight shocked everyone. The short knife began to devour the rare metal, then fused into a 7-inch long, heavy, translucent, bluish-green blade that radiated an intense life aura. This energy continuously flowed back into Hui Yuhao's body, giving him an unprecedented feeling of euphoria. He now understood that using his spiritual power to nurture the metal was a wise decision, unlike the tragic fate of the Golden Turtle who swallowed it directly. Upon closer inspection, he noticed intricate veins within the blade, as if a liquid life force was flowing through it, making the weapon feel like a living being. When Hui Yuhao gently touched it, a green light enveloped his body, and he entered a miraculous transcendental state. Afterward, the short blade merged back into his Eye of Destiny. The surging life force powerfully boosted the fusion of his spiritual and soul power. In that instant, Hui Yuhao seemed to sense the existence of the God Realm. His eyes became clear, as if they could see through the Spirit Pagoda's dome to glimpse realms that mortals could barely touch. This change startled Tang Wudong, as she saw a profound destiny in his eyes, similar to that of her father, Tang San. Although the state only lasted for a little over 10 seconds, Hui Yuhao seemed to have undergone a complete metamorphosis. Tang Wudong found it hard to believe that with only 7 soul rings, he had been summoned by the God Realm. Even more surprisingly, Hui Yuhao's 4 spirit souls also showed signs of emotion. The Snow Emperor hugged the Ice Emperor, expressed her gratitude, and then dissolved into Hui Yuhao's body. Then, the Ice Emperor hugged the Sky Dream Ice Worm, said her thanks, and also disappeared. The Sky Dream, on the other hand, was so choked up it cried. It embraced Hui Yuhao and tearfully said, "You finally let us see hope." Following that, the 8-sided mysterious ice grass also silently returned to his body. All of his spirit souls clearly sensed that Hui Yuhao was approaching the threshold to transcend humanity and reach the realm of the gods. The sudden darkness and new goals. However, at that critical moment, a terrifying black aura suddenly erupted from Hui Yuhao's body. Black gas swirled around him, and dark scales sprouted from his skin, forcefully severing his connection to that higher realm. The power came and went just as quickly, vanishing without a trace. On the surface, Hui Yuhao calmly said he was fine, but within his spiritual sea, a storm was brewing. All 4 of his spirit souls understood the truth. He had been on the verge of sensing the God Realm, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for any soul master, but was abruptly cut short by the black aura. The incident filled him with a mix of fury and regret, as the glimmer of hope they had of escaping the cycle of life and death was cruelly snuffed out. The source of this power was the beast god Ditian. After the spirit-soul fusion ritual concluded, the black aura that erupted from Hui Yuhao's body shocked and worried everyone. When Bei Bei questioned him, he simply explained that it was a protective measure left by Ditian. But in his heart, he knew this was no protection. It was a seal. Ditian himself had acted to prevent him from connecting with the God Realm. After leaving the Spirit Pagoda, Tang Wudong astutely exposed his lie, pointing out that the power was clearly obstructing his path to the God Realm. Having such a rare opportunity destroyed would be a fatal blow to any soul master. While surprised by her perceptiveness, Hui Yuhao remained calm, frankly admitting that he was currently powerless to resist Ditian and did not want to worry his friends. As they flew toward the front lines of the Douluo Empire, he appeared calm on the outside, but his heart was in turmoil. He knew that his 4 spirit souls had placed their hopes of transcending reincarnation in him. When the darkness severed his connection to the God Realm, their disappointment and rage almost engulfed his spiritual sea. But Hui Yuhao refused to give in. In his spiritual sea, he took on a rare, authoritative demeanor and reassured the 4 spirit souls. He vowed that if he had sensed the God Realm once, there would be a second and a third time. Even more astonishingly, he set a goal that was almost unthinkable for any soul master, to defeat the beast god Ditian. This was a crazy notion, as Ditian possessed 800,000 years of cultivation, was nearly at the god level, and had almost destroyed Shrek Academy. Yet when Hui Yuhao said it, his spirit souls felt his unwavering determination and belief. They remembered the last decade, from a child oppressed in the Duke's mansion to the founder of the Spirit Soul System and the Spirit Pagoda, breaking through his limits and accomplishing things that ordinary people would deem impossible. Internal conflict and a friendly sparring match. During the flight, the team's atmosphere became quite lively. Su Sancher, ecstatic to have gained a 100,000-year spirit soul, eagerly pulled Jiang Nannen along to experience the power of a soul sage. Yi Gai and Nan Qiuqiu had their own thoughts. Yi Gai, in particular, found it hard to hide her feelings for Hui Yuhao, even though she knew his heart belonged to someone else. Tang Wudong, on the other hand, acted indifferent, even mockingly calling him a playboy. But her eyes couldn't leave him. She realized she had a strange feeling for this man. There were no memories of him, yet her heart couldn't help but soften, and she often worried about him. The contradiction was so confusing it left her flustered. When the group landed to rest, Hui Yuhao contemplated his next steps alone. According to Elder Xian's instructions, he should go directly to the White Tiger Duke's camp and announce his identity. However, he was conflicted. On one hand, he wanted to keep a low profile and accumulate military merits as a regular soldier. On the other hand, he knew that with his current strength, he could only bring significant benefits to the Douluo Empire by joining the high-level decision-making process. After much deliberation, he chose to prioritize the greater good and decided to meet the White Tiger Duke. Just as he made this difficult decision, he looked up and met Tang Wudong's eyes. She quickly looked away, but that brief moment of connection brought a wave of warmth to his heart. He suddenly understood that no matter how difficult the path ahead was, as long as she was by his side, he would have the courage to face everything. By the stream, Su Sancher quickly noticed the special attention Yi Gai and Nan Qiuqiu were giving to Hui Yuhao. He couldn't help but tease them like a seasoned veteran, pointing out that the 2 girls' eyes were always on Yuhao, with a hint of jealousy in his tone. Next to him, Ji Juechen coldly mocked him, calling him ugly and crude. Their bickering quickly turned into a genuine duel. Having just advanced to the Soul Sage rank and acquired the powerful Golden Tortoise Spirit Soul, Su Sancher was brimming with confidence and immediately challenged Ji Juechen. The other man didn't hesitate, and the 2 arranged their battle on an open patch of ground. Once he entered his combat state, Ji Juechen transformed into the Sword Maniac. The Sword of Judgment in his hand exuded a terrifying might. He began with sharp probing sword strike, then unleashed a torrent of sword illusions in a relentless barrage. Su Sancher responded with his Golden Tortoise Shield, a sturdy defense that easily blocked the initial assault. At the same time, Hui Yuhao had finished preparing grilled fish and hot soup. Tang Wudong, intrigued by the duel, asked Yuhao for his prediction. Yuhao confidently stated that Su Sancher would win, while Wudong deliberately argued that Ji Juechen's light-dark fusion technique was more powerful. They made a bet. The loser would have to fulfill one request from the winner. Just then, Ji Juechen unleashed his full power. The Sword of Judgment erupted in a blinding golden light, with sacred aura that even moved Yi Gai's divine energy. This one strike contained all of his spiritual and physical power, perfectly blending light and darkness in preparation for a decisive blow. However, in the fierce confrontation, Su Sancher, empowered by his 100,000-year golden tortoise spirit soul, gradually gained the upper hand. As Ji Juechen unleashed his ultimate attack, Su Sancher cleverly used his bone skill, golden tortoise shedding, to instantly negate the disadvantage and retreat to a safe position. The opponent's full power strike thus hit nothing, and his soul power was nearly depleted. Su Sancher could have easily pressed his advantage and won, but at the last moment, he pulled back his power, only striking the ground to avoid causing injury. The army camp and a fated encounter. The duel ended with Su Sancher as the victor. However, he quickly became annoyed when Ji Juechen bluntly said, "Let's fight again next time," which meant he would have to continue facing this sword maniac in the future. Meanwhile, the tantalizing aroma of the grilled fish and roasted buns meticulously prepared by Hu Yuhao filled the air, quickly attracting everyone's attention. As they divided the food, the group tacitly allowed Tang Wudong, the youngest, to taste it first. Hu Yuhao had even prepared the best portion for her, using his spiritual power to control the fire and flavor. Wudong was completely won over by the delicious food and ate with great satisfaction. When she left half a bun, Hu Yuhao took the opportunity to share a moving story about how he and his mother shared a bun when he was a child. What surprised him was that Wudong seemed to have heard the story before. This confused him, because besides Wang Chioer, he had never told it to anyone, and Wang Dong had certainly never heard it. After dinner, the group continued their journey and soon arrived near the army camp of the Star Luo Northwestern Army Corps. Guided by a group of Soul Master patrols, they reached the camp gate. To their surprise, Star Luo Princess Su Jiujiu personally came out to greet them, accompanied by 2 titled Douluo-level powerhouses. She was incredibly warm toward Hu Yuhao, having clearly understood his crucial status in a world of Soul Masters. The 2 titled Douluo accompanying her also quickly recognized that the young group was extraordinary, especially Hu Yuhao, whose cultivation they couldn't even see through. However, when the White Tiger Duke Dai Hao saw that Shrek Academy's reinforcements were just a group of youngsters, he couldn't help but feel disappointed. Under the immense pressure from the Sun and Moon Empire, he had hoped for seasoned veterans, not this group of seemingly naive youths. Dai Yaoheng was the first to recognize Hu Yuhao, joyfully exclaiming his name, but immediately remembering they were in an army camp and falling silent. The White Tiger Duke glanced at his son without rebuke and took the initiative to walk toward Hu Yuhao. Hu Yuhao's heart was in turmoil. Standing before him was not just a commander of the Star Luo Empire, but also his biological father, the man he had deeply resented for many years. With complex emotions swirling within him, he had to try hard to maintain a calm exterior. Noteworthy. Next to Dai Yaoheng, Dai Luoli was completely stunned. He couldn't believe that his acquaintance, the attendant Su Yun, was actually a representative from Shrek. This sudden change in identity left him bewildered and unable to comprehend the situation. This concludes a detailed summary of episode 120 for the 1991 Review channel. If you found this video interesting and helpful, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest videos. See you in the next one.